What do the two variables represent in this question? What do they stand for?
Price and
No. What does the P represent?
Y.
The profit and number of tickets. Good. N represents number of tickets. What's the question asking us to find? First, we want to find the number of tickets they must sell in order to have the maximum profit. So if you're asked to find a maximum value, where will that be located if you were to graph this? Right, at the vertex. Okay? We need to know what the vertex is. Well, the equation is given in what form? What form are we given the equation in? Good. It's given in standard form. Can you turn from standard form to vertex form?
Yes.
How?
Perfect square.
Completing the square. So let's do that. Because there's a negative here, what do we have to do? What do we have to do because this is negative 1? Divide everything by negative 1. You need to factor out the negative. So it becomes...
Miss, you have to divide everything?
Yes, you have to divide everything by negative 1.
Oh.
Minus 580n plus 40. Sorry, we're only going to divide the first two terms. Yeah. Just the first two terms, sorry. Oops. Whenever you're completing the square, you always want to divide by the coefficient of the first term, but you're only dividing, you're doing partial factoring, you're dividing the first two terms, right? We're going to leave this negative 48,000 outside the bracket. But we can't forget that we have this negative 1 here. Well, what do we need to do next? How do we complete the square? How do we make this a perfect square? I need to know the C value. How do you find C?
B divided by
Eichel? Good. C equals B divided by 2 squared. Well, this is B. What's B divided by 2 squared? B, so 580 divided by 2 squared is 84,100. So that's how we're going to complete the square. So we have n squared minus 580n plus, what was it? 84,100. But then we have to take away 84,100, right?
It's honestly that extra step is confusing.
Okay, and then we still have this 48,000 outside the bracket, negative 48,000. A lot of you forgot to do this on your quiz. You can't forget that there's a negative 1 here. So to remove this from the bracket, you have to distribute this value. Negative 1 times negative 84,100 becomes what? Positive. Good. So we have our perfect square trinomial is now this. We remove the negative 84,100. It becomes positive 84,100. Okay, you can't forget to distribute this. And then we subtract 48,000 from that. Okay, now we have our perfect square trinomial. How do you factor that? Okay, so we still have this negative 1. You have to include that. It's the A value. How do I factor this? N minus, good, because this is a negative, and we have to find the square root of 84,100, which is 290, and we know it's going to be squared, right, because it's a perfect square. What's 84,100 minus 48,000? Good. Okay, now this is in vertex form. Where is the vertex located? Yep, Ethan, positive, and if we were to graph this, this represents number of tickets and this represents profit. Because this is the vertex, this point is located at the vertex, this would be our maximum profit. So how many tickets do they have to sell? 290 tickets. Good. So therefore, they must sell 290 tickets in order to earn a maximum profit of $36,100. Okay, that's the first part of this question. The next part of this question asks, when will they break even? What do you know about break-even points? How do you know when you break even? Yep. We know that we're going to break even when the profit equals $0. When profit is nothing, it means you haven't gained any money, you haven't lost any money, you're breaking even. In this relationship, we're looking at number of tickets, right, and profit. So if profit is 0, where will that be on the graph?
Zero.
If profit is 0, We need to know the number of tickets. The number of tickets could be 100, it could be 50, it could be anything, right? We have to figure it out. It's going to be located where? The x-intercepts. Okay? When the profit is nothing, wherever it is located on the graph, we know that the number of tickets will be the break-even point. Okay? So we're actually trying to find what now? Topeka? Yeah, we're trying to find the number of tickets. We're trying to find the x-intercepts or the roots of the equation. How can you find the roots of an equation? Trying to find the roots of the equation. The x-intercepts. We could factor this. We could solve this by factoring. We could solve this by using the quadratic formula. Okay, choose a strategy and solve. Find the x-intercepts. Find out what they're equal to. You were given the equation in standard form. You have it in vertex form. Pick a strategy and find the x-intercepts. Okay, so we're going to solve this by using the quadratic formula. What was the a value from standard form? -1. What's the b value? Positive or negative? Good, positive 580. And what's c? Good, we're using the standard equation that was given us at the beginning, and we need to plug this in. Okay, so we're plugging in our b, our a, our c, and our a. Make sure you include the signs, and be careful when you're simplifying this. Okay, so -580 plus or minus 580 squared is this, and when we simplify this part, we get -192,000. Let's keep simplifying this. Just by looking at this, we can see that the discriminant is positive or negative. Is it a positive or negative value, the discriminant? It's positive. So how many roots is this going to have? 2. Good. So we know we have to split this apart. So we know that x is going to be equal to -580 plus, what's the square root of 144,400? 380. 380 divided by -2. And x is going to be equal to -580 minus 380 divided by -2. Simplify this, we get x equals 100 and x equals 480. What does this mean in the context of this question? Therefore, they will break even when they sell 100 tickets and when they sell 480 tickets.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.